Hey guys, my name is Norma. I want to tell you how I was held hostage by a crazy guy and I just couldn't get away. And when I did manage to escape, it got even worse. But everything is fine now. My best friend, Brandon, had been trying to persuade me to go to the birthday party of his friend for a long time, but I didn't want to go. There were final exams ahead, and I had to prepare for them. But he kept talking about how cool it would be and that half the school would be there. He said our rich classmate would have the whole house to himself, and that it's basically illegal to pass up on this opportunity. Soon, I succumbed and agreed to go. I did it more to get Brandon off my back, and very soon, I regretted it. The thing is, there was this guy named Derek at the party. Oh, I was so annoyed with Derek. He had followed me around for the whole year. He really liked me, and he kept chasing me and trying to ask me out, but I'd rejected him like 1,000 times. I refused to agree to have coffee with him or go to the movies or anywhere else. And once, he even put candles in front of my house, spelling out the words, "I like you." I have to admit, it was cute, but I still didn't want to date him because he was weird. He dressed strangely. He liked to talk about strange things. And once, he even followed me all the way back to my house like a creep. And now he was at the same party as me, and he literally would not leave me alone. At one point, we were sitting on the couch talking about school stuff, and then Brandon said he had a surprise, and he asked my friends to go with him, so I was left alone with this freak Derek. Of course, he started talking again about how he liked me and how he wanted to date me, but this time, I wasn't going to let him down gently. I was at the party and I wanted to relax and have fun, and I didn't want to ruin my mood by talking to him. So I yelled at Derek. I told him that there was no way in the world I would date him, and I told him to leave me alone. I was hoping that maybe he'd finally figure it out, and that maybe I had to resort to doing it the hard way to get through to him. Apparently, my words really hurt him, and he left immediately. I wasn't in the mood to think about his feelings at that moment, so I went to the yard where everyone was partying and there was loud music. I was dancing and just having fun, but suddenly the music stopped because everyone heard a scream. The scream could be heard from somewhere above. Then I looked up and I saw Derek. He was standing on the ledge of the house, trying to get everyone's attention. And when the party stopped and everyone was looking at him, he finally said it. He gave me an ultimatum. Either I agreed to go on a date with him or he would jump off the roof. At that moment, everyone at the party turned to me and waited for my decision. And I agreed. Of course I agreed. I knew he was crazy. He might really jump off the roof. So I just didn't have a choice. I couldn't let a man hurt himself, could I? When I said yes, Derek was so excited and he started to climb off the roof. But he should have been more careful. As soon as he took a couple of steps, he slipped and rolled down with a loud scream. In a second, the crowd gasped and ran to him. Apparently, the party was over. Someone called an ambulance fast, but it was not necessary. Derek was fine. He only had a couple of bruises. I stayed with him and tried to help. You know, now I don't know why I did it, but back then, I felt guilty for blowing him off so hard. In the end, he had climbed up on the roof because of me. Derek was so happy that I was finally there for him. He said that he really was ready to jump off the roof if I didn't agree to date him. Then his parents came to pick him up, and he introduced me to them as his girlfriend. I confirmed it because I just had nowhere to go. I didn't want that psycho trying to jump out of something again. So that's how we started dating, although it's difficult to call it dating. You know, I thought I'd leave him as soon as he got well, but in fact, our relationship lasted for a month. And every day, I wished I never said yes. He turned out to be a disgusting person. If something was wrong, he would start yelling at me and threaten to do something to himself again. He was also jealous. If I didn't answer his messages immediately, he'd think I was with someone else. Worst of all, I couldn't argue with him because he would always give me a stupid ultimatum at the first opportunity. It was awful. I was just held hostage by him. And soon, I found the reason for his behavior. It was his parents. They were just as crazy as Derek was. They always indulged his whims and never scolded him for anything. One day we had a big fight because he didn't want me to go out with my friends. Then I got angry, yelled at him, and left. An hour later, his crazy parents came to my house and told me that I needed to apologize to Derek because he was hysterical. Oh, that was the last straw of my patience. I needed to get off this freak's ship, and I figured out a way to make sure no one would die because of me. I told his parents that I was pregnant. Yep. I thought because they were so protective of him, they wouldn't want their beloved son to be a dad at 17. And it worked. They wanted to make a deal with me, but I said I just wanted to leave and never see him again. His mom and dad had to come up with a reason to explain to him that he shouldn't date me. Thus, all responsibility would lie on Derek's parents. So I was free, and I could finally enjoy my summer vacation. But the freedom only lasted a month. One night, I was going to bed, but suddenly I heard someone scream, and then the glass broke in my room, and now I distinctly heard someone screaming insults. It was Derek. He was standing outside throwing rocks at our house. Oh, you should have heard how he was cursing at me. It looks like his parents told him that I was pregnant, and he came to fight. I mean, we hadn't done anything, so he thought I cheated on him. He wasn't just angry. He had a nervous breakdown in front of my house. My parents called the police, and pretty quickly, Derek was taken to the police station. His parents urged us to settle peacefully. I only agreed to it so it would end quickly. Derek now had to go to a psychologist for a long time, but it was definitely over between us now. The summer was finally over, and it was time to go back to school. And on the very first day, I noticed that a lot of people were looking at me very strangely, even fearfully. I saw some girls whispering behind my back. Something was happening, and I didn't understand what. Then Brandon explained everything to me. It turns out that Derek had told everyone that I was pregnant and that I had gotten rid of the baby. And many people believed it because we had dated half the summer. It could have happened, but I was not going to tolerate this lie, and I went to go fight this psycho Derek. I wanted him to tell the truth, but he threatened me again. He said he'd make things even worse if I wouldn't apologize to him in front of everyone. Oh, you freaking idiot. There's no way this was going to happen. I had to get ahead of him. I recorded a video message telling everyone what really happened. I told them about how we started dating, and I leaked screenshots and voice messages from our chats. And I also told them about the fake pregnancy I used to get rid of him. Of course, I was ashamed to reveal all of this. It's too bad that Derek only climbed to the ledge of the house that night. I know it's bad, but I really wanted him to jump off some skyscraper. So, it was done. I now just had to wait for people's reactions. I got a bunch of messages over the weekend. Someone was supporting me, someone was apologizing for thinking badly about me. In general, everything was fine and my reputation was restored. But when things got better, Derek would always show up and ruin everything. So this time, I was sitting in the cafeteria with my friends. We were talking and laughing, but suddenly we heard a scream. And when we looked around to find out who it was, we realized it was Derek. This time his eyes were completely crazy. He was walking toward me and shouting curse words. I realized that something bad was going to happen, so I got up from the table and started running away from him. But he kept screaming and chasing me. People tried to stop him, but he pushed them all away and caught up with me. Soon, I ran into a corner and I had no place to go. I closed my eyes in fear. I swear to you, I thought he was going to kill me. But suddenly, someone stopped him, and when I opened my eyes, I saw it was Brandon. He was holding Derek, and he wouldn't let him move. Soon, security and the police came and took this psycho away. I was really scared, and Brandon was trying to calm me down. He apologized a lot to me. It turns out that he specifically invited me to that party because Derek was bothering him. And he specifically left us alone so this freak could talk to me. And now Brandon felt guilty because he knew how crazy Derek was, but he was still trying to get the two of us together. But I'm not mad at him. After all, he saved me today. Now Derek will be kicked out of school for trying to attack a fellow student. The court gave him a restraining order against speaking to me or even coming near me or my house. That's what happens when you go unpunished and you think you're allowed to do anything you want. And it's Derek's parents' fault, too. They allowed him too much freedom and encouraged his sense of entitlement, and he went too far. That's all. Thanks for watching.
I cheated on my boyfriend, and he told everyone about it. Hi, I'm Stephanie, and I did something terrible. I cheated on my boyfriend, and now I have to face up to what I have done. Toby and I met when we were 13, and we became best friends almost instantly. When we were 15, we decided to start dating. I am on the school hockey team, and this year I was made the team captain, which meant I could run the hockey tryouts. That was where I met Jason. He was in the year below me at school, but he was so tall and strong, with dazzling eyes. I couldn't help but blush when he came to sign up. He was also an amazing hockey player, so was chosen for the team instantly. At our first practice, he asked me for my number, just so he could call me to ask for some training tips. That was fine, right? I mean, I was only giving it to him for the good of the team. It didn't mean anything else. I didn't need to mention it to Toby. After all, he didn't usually care who was on my hockey team. Over the next few weeks, Jason and I spoke more and more. We decided to train with each other in the gym every week. I just told Toby I was going with some girlfriends, and that put him off trying to join. I had to admit, spending time with Jason gave me such a rush that I'd never felt with Toby. When Jason looked at me, I got butterflies in my stomach, and I found myself constantly checking my appearance in the mirror before I would see him. The next day, on the way back from hockey practice, we held hands. I texted him all night, and he told me he loved me. It was so exhilarating. He told me to break it off with Toby and asked me to be his girlfriend. I didn't know what to do. Part of me wanted desperately to be with Jason, who was new and exciting, but I couldn't bear to hurt Toby, who had been my best friend for years and had always been there for me. It was coming up to summer vacation, and I told Jason I would end it with Toby. But I didn't. I couldn't. I kept putting it off. I saw Toby a few times during the holidays, but it felt strange and fake. Worried that he was suspecting something, I told him that I loved him and arranged for us to go out to dinner. I continued to text Jason, telling him that I loved him too, that I couldn't wait to see him. At dinner with Toby, I left to go to the bathroom, but when I came back, he had my phone in his hand. Jason had messaged me whilst I'd been gone, and Toby had seen it. I burst into tears, trying to deny it, telling him I was sorry, that it had been a mistake. He walked out of the restaurant. When I went back to school in the fall, everyone knew what had happened. Although Toby didn't spread the story himself, he told his best friend, who had posted it on social media backing Toby up and warning everyone against me and Jason. Jason wouldn't speak to me anymore as I had lied to him, and nor would Toby. It has been 2 months now since that happened, and people don't really care about what happened anymore. Life is back to normal, except Toby is not in it. I get to spend more time with my friends, which is good, I guess, but I will forever feel guilty for how I hurt him. I should have been grateful for the amazing boyfriend I had, and I only now know how much I relied on him. Now he is no longer mine. If you have any